That beggar should go and work and stop being lazy. Everybody has problems, but you don't see all of us sitting on the street begging for money, Annie sighed. Not everyone is as lucky as us, Nancy. Some people really have no choice. Nancy laughed bitterly. Lucky, Annie? You call this lucky? We are struggling to pay rent. You don't even have money, and yet you want to act like some hero. Annie didn't say anything. She just looked at Nancy, waiting for her to finish. Nancy pointed a finger at her. This is the last time I will help you ever again. Next month, when your rent is due, don't come crying to me. I will not save you again. Annie felt a small sting in her heart. She had always known Nancy could be harsh, but today she was being too mean. I understand, Annie said quietly. Good, Nancy snapped. She grabbed her towel and stormed into the bathroom, leaving Annie standing alone in the small living room. Annie sighed and sat on the small bed they shared. She knew she had made things difficult for herself, but deep in her heart, she didn't regret helping the beggar. The next day, Annie woke up early. She still felt bad about her fight with Nancy, but she didn't want to think about it too much. After getting ready for school, she packed some food in a small plastic bag. It wasn't much, just some rice and beans from what was left in their tiny kitchen. As she walked to school, she kept looking around until she reached the same street corner where she had seen the beggar the day before. Her heart felt warm when she saw him still sitting there. The moment the young man saw her, his eyes lit up. He sat up quickly, looking at her with surprise. You came back? He asked. Annie smiled and handed him the food. Yes, I brought you something to eat. The beggar's hands trembled slightly as he took the food from her. Thank you so much, he said, his voice full of gratitude. You don't know what this means to me. Annie sat down on a nearby rock as she watched him eat. He ate slowly, as if he didn't want to finish the food too fast. She could tell he hadn't eaten properly in a long time. After a few minutes, the young man wiped his mouth and looked at Annie with a small smile. My name is Matt, he said. I'm an orphan. Annie felt a sharp pain in her heart. I'm so sorry, Matt. That must be really hard. He nodded. It is. I lost my parents when I was little. I grew up in an orphanage, but when I turned 18, I had to leave. Since then, life has been tough. I've tried to find work, but nobody wants to hire someone like me, so I ended up here. Annie's eyes softened. That's really sad, she said. I wish I could do more to help you. Matt smiled. You have already done a lot. Yesterday, you gave me money. Today, you brought me food. You're the first person in a long time who has treated me like a human being. Annie looked down, feeling shy. I don't have much, Matt, but I can bring you food whenever I can. Matt's eyes filled with gratitude. That is more than enough. Thank you, Annie. She smiled at him and stood up. I have to go now, or I'll be late for school. Matt nodded. Be careful on your way. As Annie walked away, she felt something different in her heart. She didn't know why, but she felt connected to Matt in a way she couldn't explain. A week later, one evening, Nancy stormed into their small apartment, her face full of frustration. She threw her bag on the table and opened the kitchen cupboard. When she saw that most of their food was finished, she slammed the cupboard door shut and turned to Annie.